Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now by the time you watch this video, the Nothing Phone 2 would have been made officially available here in Malaysia, and just in case you missed out on the price, the Nothing Phone 2 now starts from RM2999, which you might be wondering, why is it such a huge step up compared to the Nothing Phone 1? Now just to give you a bit of a backstory, the Nothing Phone 1 launched about a year ago, and it was sort of like competing in the mid-range category. It launched with a Snapdragon 700 series processor, but this time round, the Nothing Phone 2 here is actually competing on a next level. It comes with that Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor, and naturally this puts the Nothing Phone 2 in sort of like flagship category. Well, in today's video we're going to find out more about this device here and find out if it's the phone for you. We are not just going to talk about the design at the back, because I know there's already a ton of videos on YouTube talking about all those different kind of lights combination that you can play around with the back panel. But yeah, let's talk more about the user experience and how it really feels like to use it, because I've been using it for a week now and I want to share my thoughts with you guys. Let's begin. Now first and foremost, I just want to touch very lightly on the design. Hear me out guys. So personally, I know that the Nothing Phone 2 here has the back lights here, the glyphs, they're calling it, break down into a couple more pieces, but I do prefer the one on the Nothing Phone 1 because it was, I think a little bit more minimal if you ask me. I think it just looks a bit more simplistic, and that's something that I really like. But the main difference with the feel and the design here, I would say, is all about how it feels much more expensive in hand. So I think it's very hard to convey this message through a video because you can't really feel the phone itself, but I strongly suggest you check it out in person, because when I got my hands on the phone for the very first time, the entire thing just looks like so much more premium than before. I think that's partly due to the fact that we have this curved back glass panel on the back. You might think curved glass back panel, no big deal, but when you actually hold it up and take a look at it, it does feel a bit more different, more expensive, if you will, compared to the Nothing Phone 1. So that's something great that I found there. Other than that, in terms of the size, guys, this is definitely a larger phone. Now compared to the Nothing Phone 1, the previous model was actually quite small, I would say, very comfortable to hold in hand. But the Nothing Phone 2 has now increased in size to 6.7 inches. I personally love it, guys. I like a big phone. I'm always using phones that are huge in size because I just love browsing on a larger display. So I think it's a great step, a step in the right direction for the Nothing Phone 2 to come in a larger size, 6.7 inches, guys. Since we are talking about the size, I should also mention that the display is, like I said, 6.7 inches. It is an AMOLED panel like before, 120 Hz adaptive, so it's very smooth, guys. And more importantly, I think they boosted the brightness. So if you are living in countries that is like us here in Malaysia, where we have very strong sun, you don't have to worry about the screen not being bright enough when you use it outdoors. So that's just in terms of the size and all that. Other than that, they also improved the cameras at the back. That means a 50 megapixel main sensor and also a 50 megapixel ultra wide. Alright, so in terms of the photos taken by the Nothing Phone 2, I did notice that the camera here is actually quite good, guys. Now, just to give you a bit of a reference, I compared the Nothing Phone 2 against my iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I noticed that the pictures coming out from the Nothing Phone 2 is actually equivalent and sometimes even better than the flagship phone. So pictures on the Nothing Phone 2 do tend to look a little bit more saturated and has a bit more contrast, which I think actually looks better in my personal preference. And in terms of the night photos, guys, it also took a little bit more detail compared to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which again, I was quite surprised here. So this is just a very early test, but based on what we are seeing right now on the cameras of the Nothing Phone 2, I'm definitely proud to say that we are seeing quite a fair bit of improvements with this 50 megapixel sensor at the back. Alright, so other than that, guys, naturally, yes, we do have 12 gigabytes of RAM as standard now. You do have 256 GB of storage, and if you want the 512 GB version, you have to add on an additional 500 ringgit, which I think is actually quite pricey. So if you can live with 256 GB, I think you should just get the lower storage option. Maybe upload your photos into Google Photos or something like that. But yeah, that's just in terms of the RAM and the storage. Alright, now I think the main change of the phone itself can actually be found in the Nothing OS 2.0. There's a lot of changes here, guys, and I think this is the nicest UI, user interface that I've found on any smartphone to date. It is very interesting. I wouldn't say that it's for everybody, and the good news here is that you can use either Nothing's UI or you can use something that is a bit more simpler to use. But for this particular section, I think I should bring the camera closer to me here so you guys can see what's on my screen. Let's go. Alright guys, here we go. This is Nothing OS 2.0. Again, like I mentioned earlier on, it is very aesthetically pleasing and in my opinion is one of the nicest looking, like UIs that is available on any smartphone. I like the fact that, Nothing really took the effort here in creating all these beautiful looking widgets. This is just my home clock. We also have another world clock over here that's showing San Francisco's time. It's moving right there, and of course you also have stuff like the weather widget, which you can just navigate and scroll along. This one connects to the earbuds obviously, and a very cool part of this widgets here is that you can now add shortcuts directly onto your screen. So you have your airplane mode, nearby share, or do not disturb, and you can just tap on here without like browsing one by one through this list right there. So I think it's super convenient to have this on the screens itself. Other than that, we also have newer, beautified sort of like custom folders, guys. So let me just show it to you real quick. For your folders, you can choose to go with a different style. You have the default style that looks like that. You also have your grid, your circle, and the one that I like the most is the cover. You don't get to see the apps on the inside, but you can actually choose a very nice icon to put in place of that. And if you're wondering like if it is limited to just a few, you actually have a ton of your emojis that you can put there. So again, like I said, it's a very personalized kind of thing. I'm putting this look here because this is containing all my social apps. Obviously, if you want a more typical kind of look, you can go back with your traditional icons. But if you're going to buy a Nothing phone, you might as well have your phone look like this because it just looks way cooler. Alright guys, so with that said, that pretty much wraps up my quick review for the Nothing Phone 2. Again, I think for the price here, you cannot really see it as being too expensive or whatnot. Don't complain about that. What you are buying here is something of a very unique user experience, something that you can't really find in other smartphones in the market today. You have a lot of these glyph lights to play with. You have those very unique UI experience, and it's just a lot of things going for it that you can't really find on other devices. Anyways, let me know what you think. I would definitely love to hear your thoughts on it. Would you go for the black maybe, or would you go for the white? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to drop a like and sub to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do stay safe and take care, everybody. Bye bye.